Red Faction. So, Bungie, we're live on, Twitch right now, so stop on over. Um, because you're going to miss a couple things. Okay? I just did a little reaction to the state of play for games that were announced for um, PlayStation, which is really cool. And I enjoy it, and I liked it. There were some I liked, some I was like, kind of like, I don't know. But today, there's Dev Insight. There's two of them that we're going to read. Okay? We got Raids and Dungeons, and then we got this Combat Modifiers and more. So, that being said, let's go. From the Destiny 2 development team. Welcome to one of many Developer Insights articles for codename Frontiers. Over the weeks and months to come, we'll be covering a lot of different topics. There was a whole thing that was from paving the way for new frontiers. A deep dive into combat modifiers and how they fit into our larger modifier system changes, providing new abilities or properties to the enemy combatants you encounter in an activity. These new threats will create new gameplay, raise the challenge, and overall change up the experience. So this is kind of the brief overview. We're investing more than ever to our activity modifier systems. Activities will be updated with a library of modifiers that can change how you approach combat on every playthrough. Combatants will gain varied powers or buffs in order to create new gameplay threats and encourage changes in the player's strategy, especially for higher level challenges. So, Master Raids, Master Dungeons, Legendary Campaigns, Grandmasters, and Nightfalls. So, the problem, okay, today in Destiny, playing the same PvE activity repeatedly feels like a chore, particularly when you're chasing a reward or following a narrative. Running through the latest exotic mission the second, third, or fourth time doesn't feel fun enough to justify the time spent. Eventually, you know where each enemy spawns, where to fight them, how to win without any challenge. This is a component of Destiny we feel we want to greatly improve in Codename Frontiers, keeping activities fresh and challenging each time you run them. The solution: improving the experience of replaying activity content by adding variety and unpredictability to each playthrough. A first-class modifier system. Okay. Destiny 2 has added modifiers to activity since the launch of the first Nightfall. Who remembers trying to wrangle Solar Shield Shanks in 2014 Arcane Priest? With Codename Frontiers, we're investing more than ever to our modifier system to improve the fun and challenging the activities. So this is what they're doing. Creating combatant-focused modifiers that change the way the players approach combat through every playthrough. Banes, enemy modifiers, and combat modifiers. Designing modifiers so that they can combine to a wide variety of experiences. Reduce barriers of entry and time to fun by reducing the number of build crafting necessary modifiers and replacing them with new combat modifiers. Banes, also known as combat affixed modifiers. An enemy unit with a Bane will present a different challenge to players according to which Bane is affecting them. Enemies that spawn with these modifiers appear unpredictably during activity, and each will run a different present different challenge. Here are two Banes that will be releasing in Episode 2 Revenant as we're testing out this new system ahead of Frontiers. Meteor and Shock. Okay. Meteor Banes give combatants the ability to launch solar projectiles that track but can be shot down. Shock will continuously build up a charge that will discharge on a single target within line of sight, and killing a unit with this Bane causes it to spread to others. Okay, here's a sneak preview of other Banes that we are working on. So that's okay. So Meteor is like when you do Proving Grounds Nightfall, and the boss shoots those like meteors at you. This will be on like random enemy combatants in the game. So this one, and it shows above their head. Wait. let's go full screen here for a second. Okay. So there's a little symbol that looks like to be above their head, and they're using prosperity. Um, so a random enemy will have this one. So imagine a champion having that. Um, so he has the Meteor Bane. Okay. And this one has the Shock one. Okay, and so that's how that works. So it's like how when you currently use an arc weapon to blow up an enemy, it's like if you don't have Dragonfly, or you don't have a modifier that causes an enemy to like explode, like Volatile, Scorch, or Ignition, and Jolt, this kind of adds that. So I wonder how this is going to work with other things. And they say when you kill an enemy, I wonder how that's going to work. Berserk. Killing combatants with Berserk causes other combatants nearby to rage. Oh, so it forces other enemies to push you. That's actually going to make clearing, ad clearing, more of a thing. Could you imagine, like, because it's going to be a thing where it's like, most of the time we try to focus on killing, specific enemy, but if we kill someone that has Berserk, it forces the other enemy to attack. Okay. Punchable combatants are immune to all ranged and damage until they're hit with a melee attack. So, okay, you see the immune shield, he's trying to shoot it, he's immune. Grenade doesn't work. Okay. Run up and punch him, and now the shield's gone. Oh! Okay. That's actually very... Titans! Get your hammers ready. Warlocks! Just almost every melee. Just every melee. Hunters! Well, practice your throwing knives. I know you guys are good at it, because you hit me with them all the time in PvP. Nuclear. Once a unit with Nuclear Bane reaches low health, it begins an arming sequence. If the unit is not defeated before the sequence completes, it explodes in a massive fiery shockwave. So that enemy's nuclear, okay. It's arming, because you can see that light. It's like, Oh. Okay. Huh. That's actually going to be interesting. Actually, something that's going to kind of, go this. Enemy modifiers. While Banes appear intermediately on the individual units, enemy modifiers are used to change the base aspects of all enemies in activity. Adjust your strategies to account for the active enemy modifier, or you may end up flat-footed when something unexpected happens. For example, under a certain modifier, Shipping Revenant, some enemies may have copy tricks about booby-trapping their drops from a famous Scorn Baron. Oh, Lord. Not the trickster. Oh, there's an engram. Boom. Combat modifiers. Modifiers aren't just changing for enemies, they affect players too. Surge mods are a classic modifier type that's been used for years in the Destiny ritual activities. It's not been years. But we've come to realize that they're too forceful build crafting modifiers, okay? So we're creating and working new modifiers that are more accepting for varied strategies and builds. More on these to come. FAQ. What about champions? Will they be using Banes too? Champions still exist in our future for modifiers. But they won't be hosting any Banes. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Can Banes stack? In Revenant, only one Bane can be present on an enemy at a time. Are you replacing all the old modifiers with these new ones? No. We're trying to strike a balance between keeping the best of the old modifiers that work well with the new ones, but these new modifiers raise the bar enough that we'll most likely start to retire the older ones over time. Okay. Now let's move on to raids and dungeons. Because this is kind of like the big PvE part of everything. Okay, most stuff. Each expansion will continue to offer aspirational endgame content, whether a new raid or new dungeon, with some additional content coming in. Major updates. Every year will kick off with a brand new raid as part of the first expansion. The following major update will then expand on this raid, adding a new challenge, twist, and rewards. The second expansion each year will deliver a new dungeon. Okay. The fourth and final major update of the year will launch an event that leverages legacy raid and dungeon content along the lines of Pantheon. Wait, legacy raid. Does that mean in could old raids and or legacy raid? Okay, no, this is just for like new stuff that we have. So like you'll get like from Salvation's Edge and other stuff. Huh? Because there's no dungeons that have been sunset, but there have been raids that have been sunset. So could those come back? Endgame aspirational content, raids, and dungeons. New raids are the cornerstone of Destiny. They bring fire teams together to tackle overwhelming odds and create legendary moments. With the world's first raid, so we'll be kicking off every year with a new raid. Starting with a new raid in codename Apollo that will stack up against the rich and varied history experienced in this space. Raids will continue to offer complete loot of exclusive weapons, armors, and exotics. Exotic. I know they say for raids in general, but these can be attained at the higher tiers by taking an additional challenge. Facing the tall task of following up Salvation's Edge, we are exploring with unique tricks in the raid format. This is one area where we will not be giving very much information about in the future, as we don't want to risk spoiling the day one experience for the raid race. Raid feats. Our current iteration of Master Raids and Challenges followed a similar format over the years. Now, so it's time to change the formula. Starting with codename Apollo, new raids will support a raid-specific form of challenge customization where players can select modifiers called feats. Feats will expose and enforce rules such as time trials, contest combatants, and other mode modifiers unique to the raid. The more feats active during the run, the better chance of earning higher tiered rewards. So this is kind of like adding when you do what's it called? Like that stuff they showed in the other one, where like you can kind of pick to get better rewards in like Nightfalls. They're adding this to raids. So like if you want a chance of getting a higher it's like oh, this exotic looks really cool, I want to use it because I want to use it in a build, but I gotta do a raid, but I don't want to grind a raid and probably not get the weapon. So what do? You do this. You enforce rules. Time trials. Enemies could be more stronger than you. There's other modifiers that will be unique to that specific raid. Okay. The raid challenge and update. In the first major update following codename Apollo, the raid will receive a challenge update, adding new rewards, new mechanics, and new feats, and potentially even new encounters. This update will kick off a raid race event and be a venue for experienced raiders to further challenge their skills. In addition to the highest tier of raid rewards available from these challenges, new and exclusive rewards will be added as well, including new weapons and a catalyst for that raid-specific exotic weapon. So this is only going to be happening with the new one. So if you want to possibly codename Apollo, the new raid will unlock. The first major update after that will have a chance for you of getting the catalyst for that raid weapon. So it's not like how it is now, where certain raid weapons you have to do a challenge or they just don't have any. Okay. Dungeons are an important part of our endgame activity ecosystem. Oh God. Huh? No. They provide an accessible raid-like experience that feature unique encounters and mechanics that demand less social coordination and scheduling. So, Codename Behemoth, the second expansion of the year, will introduce a brand new dungeon. Also, because the dungeon will be launching as part of our Codename Behemoth, they will no longer be a separate dungeon key. Additionally, the reward offering for the new dungeons will expand and include full weapon and armor sets on par with raids. Oh, so if you aren't someone that, can get, 6 people together, dungeons are actually kind of a better way for you to get stuff. Nice. Intellite introduced a raid boss rush event called Pantheon that put Fireteam's capabilities to the test. This event showed us that our community is hungry for new experiences that break out of the mold of our traditional raids and dungeons. The thing that they've been saying to you for years. Okay, so in our fourth major update of the year, we are planning another event that introduces novelty and allows our team to experiment with legacy raid and dungeon offerings to create surprising aspirational challenges. We are very early in designs at this stage, so more details to develop them. Raids and dungeons are in the core game. Dungeon content will also figure prominently in the new portal as part of our Pinnacle Ops category. For more information, here's that. Several updated dungeons will be available to launch and play with the full challenge customization. While raid content will not initially be a part of it, we're exploring ways to incorporate in the future. Until then, new and legacy raid content will continue to be available at their current locations with their exclusive reward pools. Okay. So, what you're telling me is, with all this, that you're kind of just giving us a way of saying, yeah, we know that, you guys enjoy challenges, so here's challenges on top of your challenges. So, this is your legacy content. This is the ones they say in their legacy stuff. So Vogue, Crota, Kane's Fall, Ghost of the Deep, Prophecy, all that will be like your stuff that they're talking about. Okay. That's interesting. So yeah. I'll be back. And Red Faction, have a good one.